Welcome everyone, I hope you're doing well. In this one we're returning to the northern mid-latitudes of Mars, to a new site I discovered on the western edge of Utopia Planitia. This one's going to blow your mind, folks. So many anomalies to see in this one. The high-rise photograph is called Cluster of Craters in Utopia Planitia, acquired on the 3rd of May 2008 at 30.1 centimeters per pixel. I'll be showing you images cropped from the JP2 black and white map projected file, just over 900 megabytes in size. There's a look at the low-res black and white, and the anomalies are all over the place in this photograph. We're looking at this site located at 43 degrees 13 minutes north, 76 degrees 51 minutes east. We'll have a look at some other anomalies towards the end of the video, specifically this site down here, folks, where I've found more of these virtually identical anomalies. To start with, we'll be looking at geometric symbolism, I think, that we see on some of these objects. This one over here is about 12 meters long, and on it we have a depiction of a triangle, and we've seen that so many times. We'll have a look at some other examples as well. Also in the same photograph we've got this strange structured item and a block over here to the left, and on it what looks like a depiction of a triangle. Also has a slot cut in on the one side. Of particular interest is also the uniform thickness to that block. Two similar blocks over here pointing in the same direction, parallel to each other, and a parallel slot between the two there. It looks like a disc with a dome on it lying there on its side. Check out the U-shaped part over here. It looks almost as if it's part of this, with a rectangular opening over there. Also a rectangular step type anomaly parallel with this one edge over here. Two more similar blocks to the top right, also lined up with these two narrow blocks pointing in that direction. And again, another depiction of what looks like a triangle on that part. These two pieces are about 12 meters long each. Check out the rectangular opening in that block. Got this piece sticking out of what looks like an opening there, and then a small part. It's got like an arc to it coming up, pointing down towards that item inside that opening. And over there the triangular depiction. Check out the L-shaped part here. It looks like a disc-shaped piece lying underneath it. And there they are for comparison. The size of these triangles is virtually the same in all of those. Then we're looking at another strange alignment over here. We've seen many of these anomalies on Mars as well. This piece is about 12 meters long. Check at the arrangement of these similar dark spots in an arc around that conical feature there. Got almost equal spacing between those. This is from our video called Part 1, Alignments and Strange Objects Found Near Euripus Mons. We also have a depiction of a circular pattern there around a small part in the center. Look at the spacing between those items as well. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over there. And this one I featured quite recently, another pattern in the shape of an arc on that piece there, which is about 15 meters across. Look at the collar or sleeve like anomaly over there surrounding that half a dome shaped object on top. Very intriguing. We've seen similar patterns on megalithic blocks down in South America. And then we're looking at perfect blocks, folks. Check out this one. I think this is one of the best ones that I've spotted on Mars to date. This one's about 8 meters long and about 4 meters wide by about 2 meters deep. Look at the very smooth flat surfaces to that item and well defined edges parallel with one another. Perfect right angles to it, covered in sand and dust over here. I wonder if it's a type of a monolith. Then we're looking at similar ones there. Check out the straight edges and right angles to these two. Dried out lake bed or swamp, leaving these rectangular patterns. I don't think so, folks. These things are just too perfect and too similar to be natural. We're looking at another block over there, just sticking out of the surface. Also perfect right angles and straight edges to it. And there's another one there, folks. I'm only showing you the ones that are really clear and that don't break up too much. There's a lot more in these images, folks. I encourage you to have a look at those. I'll upload them to my blog in the next day or so. Check out this one. Also straight edges and right angles to it. Another block over there, sticking out of the surface, also with right angles and straight edges to it. This block's almost entirely visible, lying next to a smaller one. Check this out, folks. Uniform width over there and on this side, and right angles. And there they are to compare. So are we looking at a cracked up, dried out lake bed or swamp, or are we looking at megalithic blocks that were manufactured, intelligent design or natural occurrences? Let's have a chat in the comments below. Then we're looking at blocks with small protrusions or knobs on them. This one over here is about 5 meters long, about 4 meters wide. There's the protrusion or knob right there in its center. And that is repeated throughout sites on Mars. Check this one out, about the same size. It's got a small protrusion or knob right there on top in the center. And we're looking at this part, rather strange. It's about 6 meters long with the rectangular carved out area there, and then the two smaller protrusions or knobs in that carved out space, and then two dark spots next to one another perpendicular to that side over there. And we're looking at that block. It's about 6 meters long as well, and we've got a small part right there on top of it in the center. Check out this piece. It's about 4 by 4 meters in size, perfect straight edges and a right angle, small part there in its center. And there's another one, folks, about the same size. Also, it has a small part right there in its center. And there they are for comparison. What is the significance of the smaller objects in the centers of these blocks? And then we're looking at these strange items. We've got slab-like anomalies with small parts on top. This one's also quite pristine. It's about 10 meters long and about 8 meters wide. Get the perfect straight edges and right angles to it. It's got this part on top, and it looks as if this side is eroded away. Don't know what happened there. Look at the uniform width or thickness to the slab. There's another one. This one's also got a part on it. This is about 12 meters long. Straight edges, right angles, and then this rectangular part on top, parallel with the sides of the slab underneath it. Two blocks next to one another here. The larger one is about 12 meters long. Get the straight edges and right angles, slightly elevated by the looks of it here on the right, and then it's got this triangular part on the top right there in its center. Another slab over there, folks, about 12 meters long. Check out the uniform thickness to it as well. It's got this long narrow part lying on top across the diagonal, and we've seen that arrangement on Mars quite often as well. Another block over there with a small protrusion or knob on it. This block is about 10 meters long. Get the right angles to it and the small part there in the center. Similar one over there, and this one also seems to have a small part there in its center as well. Check out the uniform thickness to that slab as well. They're very similar to one another. And there's a comparative view. We're looking at narrower blocks about the same length as those that we just featured. Check out the straight edges and right angles, parallel sides, uniform width to the side, and that one over there. Similar slab over there, folks. This one's lying on a disc-shaped object. These straight edges, right angle to it as well. It looks like this is beveled as well. Check out that L shape. Another one, folks, check out the uniformity to this one. There's another one, very, very similar in size and shape. And there's a comparison for you. Then we're looking at long narrow parts. They're almost like columns down here to the right. That piece there is about 6 to 7 meters long. Also has right angles to it. Check that out, folks. There's a similar one. Another one over there. Another one, folks, right there in the center of this image. And as I say, there's a lot going on in this photograph. I wonder if this was a city with these mega structures, megalithic structures, and there was utter devastation that blew everything apart. Something like a explosion, maybe even a flood or a tsunami, maybe both. But check that out, folks. and then this longer one, but it's about the same width. And then lots of these very long narrow parts, they look almost like pipes that litter this region as well. Someone's got a small protrusion or knob through the center over there. Check out this L-shaped piece, parallel with that part there. And there they are for comparison. And we're looking at strange structures. Check out this one over here, folks. It's got a small disc on the top. That disc there is about 3 meters wide, and it's got a dome-like part in its center. And there's another example of one I found. Frixie rupes reveals more of its artifacts. Also, this disc-shaped part lying on top of what looks like a structure underneath, and it's got a small dome in its center. And then this big piece, this is about 15 meters long. It's got like a partial hexagon shape to it, and then this part in its center. Right, let's go to the western edge of Utopia Planitia. There's the photograph we analyzed, cluster of craters in Utopia Planitia, and let's just check out those anomalies briefly. Mind-blowing. And then the site over here, I also called it virtually identical megalithic blocks. This is about 250 kilometers to the south of that site. And there's a look at those anomalies, folks. Check out those. Same size and shape. And then the customary smaller objects in the centers of those blocks. I don't think we're looking at a dried out lake bed or swamp, folks. These are just too big. If you look at the way lakes and dams and swamps dry out here on Earth, the small patterns they leave behind don't look at all like this. And these things are strewn about. They're not next to one another like you'd expect to see here on Earth. This looks very much like an ancient ruin. Check that out. And then let's check in this site. Dozens of blocks discovered in Utopia Planitia. Two weird oval shapes inside those depressions, very similar in size and shape. Also has straight edges over here with a right angle. That looked rather strange, but let's check out those blocks. seen that in Utopia Planitia as well, where we have two blocks next to one another, where the larger one is twice the size of the smaller one. That's it for this one, guys and girls. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's have a chat in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think of these anomalies. Are we looking at remnants of ancient megalithic structures, or just natural coincidence? Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Ciao for now.